Welcome to Dicey Deep Dive, a This Could Get Dicey talk show where we get to take a break from playing Dungeons and Dragons and talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Hell yeah!
I'm one of your co-hosts, Alex Villarreal, and I'm joined by
Destiny Nieto.
And today, on this special Dicey Deep Dive, we're going to be talking about music.
Ooh la la. I'm so excited.
Sounds, frequencies, tones, pitches.
Alex is going to be singing the rest of this show.
My voice is still kind of fucked up, but I would, if it wasn't, and if nobody was listening, I'd be belting right now. To start us off, Destiny, what are you listening to right now?
Ooh, good question. And unfortunately, it's more podcasts than music right about now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But in terms of music...
I think my latest... If I go to my Spotify recently played, it would be Vince Staples.
Ooh,
because
did you like the new song?
Yes, I did. I love everything he puts out.
Me too. I love everything about. There was a Twitter thread, going around, like a Twitter, like there was like a tweet that was like the funniest people you know like ain't even trying to be funny, and everybody was just quote tweeting it with just like different Vince Staples videos.
Hell yeah!
It was such a good time.
Yeah. Because he will be playing ACL this year, so I'm just preemptively prepping myself for a great time.
Do you have a favorite album from him?
Ooh, oh my gosh, I'm really bad with album names, but it's the cover with the goldfish.
Yeah, Big Fish Theory.
Big Fish, like... the one with the name Fish in it. Yeah, I think that one's my favorite.
It got bops on it.
It got bops.
We're recording. Man, this is coming out in like fucking July. Who knows? But we're recording this before this. I'm listening to the new Knocked Loose record.
Nice.
It's very scary and very. I put it on at like really early in the morning, like when I get to work,
to wake
just
up.
To be like, oh, okay, all right. It's like just to put a little bit of extra pep in my step. I've been listening to a lot of Fountains of Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Look, fun fact, y'all. Stacy's Mom by Fountains of Wayne, not their fucking best song at all. But they're just catchy songs.
But still a bop.
Yeah, still a bop. So yeah, just kind of two different juxtapositions, like really scary metalcore and some of the best pop rock you'll ever listen to in your whole life.
Nice. I've been getting fed a lot of Knock Loose videos on my TikTok recently. I'm not mad about it, but the most recent one was like, took my mom to her first Knock Loose concert and she witnessed a wall of death for the first time, and it's just this very terrified mother watching from afar.
The mother of the lead singer of Knocked Loose is such a fucking band, and you could tell just like she is probably not a fan of this kind of music, but she is so just like, go yeah. Woo! It's very sweet.
That's cute. In the same vein of music, Alex, but kind of switching to related to the podcast, got a few questions for you. What have been your top 3 songs you've made so far?
Oh shit, I'll actually pull up a little list right now so I can read off of it. I will say, I mean, this is kind of a cheat answer, but when I was working on the theme song, because I posted like 4. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
But I do remember when I was writing the actual theme song that was chosen, and I played that bass line, I was just like, I think that might be the winner.
Hell yeah.
It was. Man. There's a song called Sacrifice that was used when we all sacrificed something to the Court of Outlaws.
Okay, yeah.
It's just a very slow guitar, like chord progressions, very like somber with some harps over it that I really, really liked. when I first wrote, you heard it a lot in the earlier episodes, but like I have a bunch of different versions of this song called Hopeful. That's I have it with like harps and violins. I have one that's like 6 minutes long. It's like very chiptune-y. That was the first time that I think I wrote a melody that I was like, ooh, this sounds like a score. And I am not a score person. I like hardcore. So.
Oh, that actually leads me to a fan submitted question. Just speaking of like scoring and then the type of music you listen to, and even the other type of music that you create in the other bands you've been in, comparing the two, which do you find more difficult to create in that creative process?
That's a great question. Obviously, like I played in kind of like an emo indie punk band for quite a few years. I filled in for a lot of other bands. Writing songs that like I only really ever write like really sad songs. So sometimes like being vulnerable like that can be a little difficult. Sometimes I get too hung up on stuff. But honestly, I would say this podcast has been like the biggest musical challenge I've like ever had, like I guess musically. It's really difficult to like pull a melody, like to make up like a new melody and sound and not back it up with like lyrics and rhyming and words and like alliteration and like metaphors, and it's just like you just have violins and piano, and that's just like it's very intimidating.
Yeah, I guess trying to convey a certain emotion within a scene, if you will, for during the podcast, compared to like here now you're not only are you listening to this sad song, also the lyrics are kind of sad or metaphorically sad. It's a bit more on the nose, I guess. I don't know. I've never written or produced music before. I just listen to it.
The biggest disappointment I've had, there's been quite a few songs that I've been like, ooh, it's like in my head. We've been recording. I'm like, oh, I know the perfect melody or the perfect sound, and I try to put it like on wax, and like it does not come out. The main one that like the most frustrated I've ever gotten was when we went to Vinzo's Varieties for the first time, and I had like I still have it in my head. It's in my head. I'm hearing it right now. This very clear, like kind of bossa nova, very chill, laid back, like kind of elevator music, but not as corny, like something kind of jazzy and smooth. Just because like Emil's like very well dressed, he's like takes a lot of pride in his work, he sells fine goods, and I worked on like that kind of genre of music, and then I picked up my guitar and I was just like, oh wait, I don't know how to play bossa nova. I don't know jazz chords. I don't know how to play any. So, and I remember I took a stab at it for like quite a few days before I just completely scrapped it and wrote like something completely different.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can't imagine. I wish I could make music. I'm a listener, not a maker.
It's never too late, Destiny. And that's a perfect segue into another question I have for you.
Ooh.
If you could play, like if you could wake up tomorrow and know any instrument and like know how to play it like perfectly, and you could pick it, what would you pick?
Oh, easy. Drums.
And just be like the sickest drummer in the whole world?
Like definitely have had, dreams or weird visions of like maybe another life. This is Destiny in another parallel dimension, but of just like lead singer of a like punk band, but their instrument is the drums.
Whenever the lead singer of a band is the drummer, I'm like, ooh, I'm tuning in.
How?
Like I talked so much shit when I was a kid on Under Oath until I found out that the vocalist was the drummer, and then I was just like, okay, well, hold on.
And then you found out they're like a sneaky J band, and you're like, wait a minute.
And then when you realize they're not a sneaky, they're actually a very forward J band.
Yeah. Then you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
But I will say, Destiny, if you've ever been looking for a fucking sign, I don't think you should. I will say, if you were to say like the flute, I'd be like, yeah, probably in another life, Destiny. Destiny, the drums. You can count to. Anybody can count to 4. You can learn how to play the drums. You can get an electronic drum set that you can keep in the room you're in right now and put on your little headphones and practice. I don't have an electronic drum set. It's on my forever Christmas list. Destiny, you should learn how to play drums.
Okay, I think you've convinced me. I think I know I'm going to ask for my birthday. And then if I don't get it for my birthday, Christmas.
I've always wanted to know if I could wake up, I would play.
If it can wake up, you're asleep right now.
From the simulation. I think the saxophone would be like the coolest instrument to just like, it's so smooth and so buttery. That and like the violin.
Oh, I think Becky can play the violin.
Becky can play the violin, and I've talked to her often. Not like I haven't broached the subject in a while, but there was a while where I was like, hey, if I get a violin, can you like teach me how to play violin? And she was like, yeah, and then I just like never got a violin.
Like, okay, cool.
I think the most realistic answer, like on a musical standpoint, would be piano. Like if you knew how to play the piano like super well, you could probably have a leg up in learning other instruments. But it's all about the cool factor.
It's all about the cool.
Saxophone.
That'd be cool. I think another instrument would be the accordion.
Play some norteño.
Yeah. A little tejano.
Just like in some uncle's garage at 4:00 in the morning, everybody's crying and singing.
Yeah, that's a different universe that Destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the Destiny that didn't leave the town everyone's from. My family's
absolutely.
from.
That's me too.
You kind of said this before, but you said that like in the Venser's Variety scenario that you said that you're like, oh, I have this tune, this is kind of what I want to create. Is that common from while we're recording? Like we're in a combat, we're in a new area. Are you in the moment RPing, but then also the back of your head like, oh, this would be a perfect sound for this scene?
It's like, I'm not lying and I'm not trying to fucking like brush dirt off my shoulders. When I'm not in the scene, when I'm not in an RP scene, when it's like focused on like you and like an NPC that Becky's playing, or Kenny and an NPC that Becky's playing, that's and you catch me zoning out, I would argue that at least like 60-70%, 30-40% of the time, sometimes I'd be zoning out. That's just human error. But I would argue like a vast majority of the time, I'm thinking like, okay, like, is this an opportunity for a new song? It's like, because like, man, I don't know the total number of songs so far, but it's like past, I think at this point it's past 70 that I've written.
Are you serious? Damn. Across like what we're at the time of this recording, we've recorded like what a little over 50 episodes.
Yeah, and some are like variation, like that song I mentioned, "Hopeful." There's like 6 to 7 different versions of that song, and I'm counting those. But yeah, sometimes a lot of it happens at work though. I'll be at work and I know like I'll be working on editing. And we'll be taking notes as I edit, and I'm like, new song here, and I'll try to like write some adjectives and like, you know, like some mood like words, and then in my head I'll be thinking like, oh, I haven't used a violin in a while as a lead, like let me try to come up with that. But yeah, sometimes it's during recording.
That's cool.
A lot of times it's during recording.
That's cool. That makes more sense when sometimes you're kind of just sat back all the way.
Oh no, yeah. So when I mean, in some of the recent episodes we recorded, I'm just like, I like sit back and I'm like,
It's like, damn, Alex is really intently listening to Becky. What Becky's saying?
It's just in my head. I'm just like, do 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 do. I would hit you with another non-show related question. If you could create. We're not going to do like a whole one because that would probably we could probably talk about this for like hours. But if like you could create a festival,
oh my god,
like give me your headliner. They could be dead, they could be alive, they could be like you can bring them back from the dead.
Oh my gosh.
You can like They could play whatever album you wanted. They could play whatever order of songs you wanted.
Oh my gosh, what a dream! I've definitely thought about this before, and I need to start writing it down. But as soon as you said festival, the first 3 artists that came to mind, so I would say my 3 headliners would be Selena Quintanilla.
At the top.
At the top, closing out the festival.
She is risen, and she's here to headline Destiny's show.
That's the name of the festival.
It's very good.
Porter Robinson and Turnstile.
That'd be such a fun. Imagine if that was just, it's not even a festival, it's just a fucking concert, and it's just those 3 performers.
Interesting that, like, I get why in concerts they're like, hey, here's the headliner, and then the opening bands are similar music that you potentially would like.
Mixed bills. Absolutely.
But yeah, those would be my 3. Those are the 3 that came to mind right away, and I think it would be a great time. A little bit of everything, not everything. There's a lot more genres.
There's a lot more, but that covers a wide basis. If I'd probably go, I've seen them a few times, but if I could make their fucking set list and they only played the songs that I wanted to play, none of any of the new bullshit, I'd have Fall Out Boy pre-hiatus.
Yes.
They can only play their first 4 records. In fact, they could just go ahead and play all their first 4 records, and then that's it.
They play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, playing each.
Oh God. Oh, Destiny. My favorite childhood band was Rancid. I'd probably have Rancid on there. And there's the third slot's tricky. Like the third slot is like, I'd probably put like Carly Rae Jepsen. I want to put like something like light and fun and fresh and yeah, because when Becky and I saw Carly Rae Jepsen, and she played with a full band.
Oh damn, that's awesome.
She had like a drummer, and like she had backing tracks. Obviously,
right.
Like she's a pop star, she's gonna have some backing tracks. But like she had backup singers. She had a drummer, a guitarist, and a bassist, and a saxophone player. And I just thought as a pop performer, like you don't see that.
You don't. Damn, that's awesome. Another headlining band I would add, my 4th headliner would be S Club 7.
And it's just you and Becky in the audience.
It's just Becky and I in the audience.
I could like come up with a 3-day festival, and it would be called Alex Festival, and it would be the best, funnest festival in the whole wide world. Oh my God.
I'd buy tickets. I'd buy VIP tickets.
That's why I look at every festival lineup. I'm like, this is not as good as my makeup festival where I bring Selena Quintanilla and Michael Jackson back from the dead.
Back from the dead. You could never, ACL. I have another fan-submitted question for you. Do you pull inspo from anywhere when making the music for the podcast?
Yeah, so Becky's been a really good help throughout the course of the podcast. Becky listens to like a lot of scores, and I do not. I have like scores that but they're like very like I like the Lord of the Rings score, and it's just like yeah, I like Pirates of the Caribbean score. And Becky's been a really big help in being like, hey, we're going into this town. This is what I'm listening to when I'm like thinking of this town, and that's a huge help. I pull a lot for melodies. And hey, I've said it. I think I've said it on the podcast before. If you're an artist, steal things. It's hey, they won't catch you. Trust me.
There's a book about it. It's called "Still Like an Artist."
Yes. A lot of like hip hop and rap, like the instrumental like melody lines, I will be like, ooh, how would that sound if it's played like on a violin?
Oh.
And if I tweak it a little bit so I'm not completely just like ripping off a Kendrick Lamar song or something. But like yeah, like pop and R&B, like like, I mean, because a lot of hip hop and rap like uses samples, and a lot of samples are from like, you know, like can be from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, even older sometimes, and like a lot of that music is like very like led by strings.
Yeah.
And a lot of hardcore for like a lot of the rhythm, like all combat songs I've ever kind of made were kind of stolen from like hardcore songs that I love.
That's awesome.
Just like not as like obviously not as like fast, but certain drum, like one of the first combat songs I ever wrote was called Pulse, and it sounds kind of Game of Thronesy, but that was like lifted. I'm not gonna name the band, but like there's the drums in that band was like the breakdown to like the lead up to a breakdown. It's a hardcore band that I really like.
Oh, that's interesting, and that's really cool. Again, from someone who doesn't know a lot about music theory and producing, that you can hear stuff like that, hear a different genre of music and be like, what if it sounded like this? What if I sped this part up and slowed this part down? That's really cool.
Steal it. That's great. Just take it. It's already been done. Like that's my with specifically with music, like it's already been done before.
Yeah.
Like there is no such thing as like an original thought in like in music anymore.
In life.
Like, every chord progression, every like in life, like we're all just like, and that's not like an insult, that like we have just been we like as humans look at shiny thing and go like, I want to make shiny thing.
Yeah.
And you just keep making shinier things.
Damn.
Pretty deep, you know?
Mind absolutely blown.
This is we might be putting on our hater hats right now. We might put on our hater hats right now.
Let me go grab it real quick.
I have it right here. What's a genre of music that you, for the life of you, and I'm sure there's lots, and there's no shade here. What's the genre of music that you just like cannot get into?
That's a difficult one because I like to listen to it all. You got to give it a shot. For me personally, my hater hat is more on the artist and not necessarily the genre.
That's fair. That's a good point. There's a lot of artists and genres that I love that I'm like, hater.
Yeah.
Hater.
Like, I'm going to get a lot of hate probably from this.
Do it. Who cares?
Cannot stand Taylor Swift post her first album.
You're a T Swift hater, and that's fair.
I love girly pop music, you know, but
and sometimes you don't need a justification for it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Life is too short, and my thing is like, there's nothing wrong with not liking something. There is something wrong if you were like a Twitter stand, and if you secretly had your own like Taylor Swift like hate Twitter, where you anonymously were like
named Tater Swift.
Tater Swift is so good.
Anyways, sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, there's I mean, like I really, really, really enjoy, and I have always really, really enjoyed like music that's on the more aggressive side, which a lot of people in, you know, the general public, they hear somebody hollering on a song and they're like, oh, like not for me.
Yeah.
I will say there are many genres of heavy music and metal and hardcore that I just like. Turn that garbage off, you weirdos.
I guess, yeah. I think that would be, because like there's different levels to like metal, hardcore, sub-genres, sub-genres. But yeah, I think the like very scary, the less I can understand their logo, the more I probably don't like that type of metal.
That's fair. A lot of like I'm not a big fan of like grindcore, because it sounds like somebody burping into a microphone. And usually their logos are really hard to interpret. I will say this is not a I'm not saying I can't get into this music. I think it's just like a product of us being born in America. Is that like we are very fortunate that in like, and I could be talking out of my fucking ass here, but like we have like so many different genres and artists in America. And I always think like, wow, I have such an open-minded like worldview on music, and I do not, because I don't be listening to anything from other countries. Like I always like this, and that's why it's like really, really cool to see like Latin music really blow up in the past like couple years, and be like, damn, that's like genuinely like I know the hits, I know the songs that really like blow up and make it to the top charts in America, but like there are a whole like South American music, East Asian music, like there are so many different African music, there's so much like different music, and I feel like we like Spotify just classifies it as like world music, and it's like kind of an insult. It's like, no, these are like different genres of music. And we're just like, I don't know, I guess that's world music.
Yeah. No, I don't. Like, you made a really good point. Like, I think part of the reason why we might think here in America, like, oh, we're so cultured musically, but it's just that a lot of people tour here in general, because that's where the money's at, I feel. But still, like, you don't see many South African bands, at least I haven't seen, come to Austin. I have one more fan submitted question, and I think it's a really good one. This fan listener asked, or rather said, you should have a producer tag. What should your producer tag be?
There's a really, really funny trend where like producers on TikTok will like on their like private or like their personal Discords will ask their fans to make producer tags for them, and they like will go through and live and listen to them. It's very funny. To have like Kenny be like, Alex made this, like it's an Ellis production. That'd be really, really cool. If I just start fucking like in the middle of Becky giving a monologue as a song begins, it's just like, fucking Alex made this song.
That'd be so funny though. This listener had a suggestion.
Okay.
Whoopsies.
Just like really reverbed and like pitched up a lot, like whoopsies. And then it's just like violins and strings and stuff. Ooh.
Maybe it can be like a Patreon exclusive.
Oh yeah. If you're a member of our Patreon, you can come up with the producer tag, and I will throw it in randomly in the middle of an intense RP episode. Like where hopefully one of us is like sobbing.
Like rolling like, hey, death saves.
Yeah. Whoopsies. There's probably so much music in our lives. I think about this a lot that we've like already forgotten. And like we're constantly like being reminded of like, you hear a song or like, you know, you see fucking videos that make you cry on like TikTok of like somebody with like Alzheimer's or dementia and they're super old, but then they play a song from their childhood and they're just like, holy fuck, it's that song. Like songs that have really like impacted your life, changed your life. And my thing is there can be recency bias here, because like I was trying to think of ones and I only have recency bias because I can't remember a song, but sometimes you hear a song and you're like, oh, I forgot you existed. Do you have a song that kind of changed or impacted your life?
Whoa, what a deep question. For me, I think, and this is also, I saw like a meme or trend or whatever going around about this. It was just like the music that you as an individual pick as like a teenager, like 13, 14, 15, is like the music and the type of genre that you're going to listen to the rest of your life.
Yes.
And for me, that was the Warped Tour compilation.
Oh, what year?
I believe it's either 06 or 07.
I'm Googling it right now.
Okay, the cover is It's black and white, obviously, and I believe it's someone skateboarding.
Okay, 2006 is somebody holding the guitar above their head. I'm gonna go to 7.
Oh wait, it might be that one. Show me a picture.
That's the 2007. Oof. That's 2006.
Oh my god, they're both so similar.
Was it 2005?
No. I'm trying to think the year I went. My first year of going. I want to say
my first year.
I think it had Paramore on one of the tracks. I feel like I have the CD still. Let me see. What? Sorry, what grade are you when 14?
You're a freshman.
I was a freshman, but it was the summer before my freshman year. So that would have been
13.
It's 13. But I'm trying to think what year how old am I? 2000 so it had to be 5 or 6. I don't know. It's taking too long. I can't remember the exact year, but I swear to you, it was life-changing.
I mean, that's something I really miss of like the CD era.
Yeah.
Was the compilation record. That's how I really like it was such an easy way to like listen to. I'm like thankfully I had like older brothers. We always had the Warped Tour compilations because they would go. And we always had the Punk-O-Rama compilations. Any compilation I could find, I got my hands on it because, like, especially if I didn't know the bands. If I knew, like, one band, I'm like, oh, sick, because then you're going to hopefully find a whole bunch of new bands. A recency bias answer for me, there's, it's going to sound silly, but, like, I usually don't like find songs to be like very, very motivating. Like there are songs that'll be like, oh fuck, that's a good song. It'll bring a tear to my eye. But like I don't really find music to be like, yeah, let's like motivate me. But a couple years ago, I was like a little bit down in the dumps, and it was kind of before I started like kind of thinking about like my own like sort of like physical health and stuff. There's a band from Van Nuys, California, called God's Hate, and they have a song. They're a hardcore band, and they have a song called "Be Harder," and the mantra of the song is like, "Life is hard, be harder."
Damn.
And like the first time I ever heard, like it was legit it was the first time I've ever been like, fuck. And then I like put on my shoes and like went for a run. Like
that's crazy. I love that.
And it's like obviously like it's aggressive and yelly and very like, you know, chuggy and stuff, but like I've even heard like the writers of like the band talk about that their song, that they're just like, the song isn't no like machismo bullshit. It's not like be harder, like punch somebody in the face. It's like whatever's in your way, like just like be harder, like be harder than that. And it's just like, you're right. I should just be harder. That's like a very recent song that is like in the top of my list. But like, I think like the first CD I ever bought with my own money, was the album "My Own Prison" by Creed.
Nice.
And I don't listen to Creed anymore. But a song from that record can come on right now, and I will stop what I'm doing and like choke up and be like, oh, my childhood.
Dang.
Butt rock.
Explains a lot. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Damn. Now I'm trying to think of just like something. I can't think of. I will say
it's hard. It's hard to put it on the spot.
It's hard to put it on the spot. Something kind of related. I was talking to our hairdresser because now we go to the same stylist.
That's right.
And she was like, you know what's really random? There's no real quantifiable way to know how many songs you know.
It's impossible.
It's literally impossible. Because to your point of just like, you don't listen to Creed every day or that album, but I bet as soon as the first like note hits, you're like, I know this whole album.
Like the amount of songs you don't like too that you know so well because they're just like fed to you. Like the sheer amount of like it's truly something that like we take for granted constantly, and we'll never fully be able to like not take for granted, because especially with like streaming services, like we're just we constantly have new music to listen to. Like we will never like run out of music to listen to. There's actually this guy I follow on TikTok that he has a whole series on like songs that have been completely lost to time that were recorded sometime between like the late 1800s to the early like 1940s 1950s that were like only recorded on vinyl and maybe had some sheet music, but then like there's no digital version of that, there's no copy, so like this is just like art that somebody recorded, and if he finds the sheet music he will like record it just to be like, wow, like in this sort of preservation mindset of like we can't lose it, we can't lose any of it, like none of this we can lose, and that's what's so scary about streaming services. They can take it away from us at any point. And we should own physical media, but we don't because it's easy. And trust me, I use streaming services too. But like, there's like,
damn.
Like, I wish I was a vinyl kid. I wish I was like a vinyl boy. That I was just like, oh, I only listen to things on wax. The fidelity is so much better.
Yeah. Damn. Go harder, like you said.
Yeah, dude, be harder. Do better.
So I think the final question of the evening, what are some of your musical goals and aspirations for this podcast?
Oh, man. What a big one. I would like to record for the people at home, especially if anybody's listening that is a musician. My kind of setup with how I record music is very basic and very small. I really only record on like a small MIDI keyboard that is only about, it's not only about, it is one octave on a piano. It's just like C to C, like it is. And you can like change the way it sounds and stuff and blah, 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 but you don't have like the full range of motion like that you could have on like a full size keyboard or piano. I would love to write like a full like piano ballad, like it's like a dreamy, like I think I've taken a shot at it a couple times, but like to really sit down and compose like a full, like the only time I've ever done that was the very first song that you hear in This Could Get Dicey in episode 1, which was a song, I think it's called Wonder, that because it was our first episode, I was like, oh, I want to like compose a piece. And I remember y'all had a note for that first episode that you were like Becky's like, welcome to Drugala, and then like music plays for a little while, and and y'all were like, hey, the music plays for too long, like cut that. I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, like my musical goals would be like if I could not have a job and devote like 8 overtime hours to just like, I would score the episode. Like every episode would be like its own like rise and fall and quiet and crescendos and stuff like that.
Goosebumps.
That would be sick. I'd like to have, I'm always on a quest for like music sounds cost, I don't, this isn't like a fucking hat in hand bullshit. The music sounds cost money. So for the first like fucking 35 episodes, you're listening to stock GarageBand sounds. That is like just the music that comes on GarageBand, and I like tweaked it as best as I could, and then I've slowly been I found some really, really great free legal, not I didn't steal them, like free sounds. That's predominantly what you're listening to now. Man, I would love to have like I do love like violins and like orchestral music and pianos and stuff, and writing that kind of music. I'd like to write more, like there were a couple kind of like poppier songs I had in the beginning. It's nice to throw like a little genre twist in there a little bit. I'd like to do more of that. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any like vibes that you maybe haven't heard yet?
Oh. I think for me it is the like more like soundscaping and like the foliage in between like the parts where music typically isn't in the podcast right now. Like that would be cool, or incorporating that in what we can do right now, if that makes sense. Like if I could write like a piano ballad that had like birds chirping in the background, or like crickets or rainfall, like not just having like foliage, but music and foliage combined as one. That'd be sick. But hey, if you subscribe to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/TCGDpod, you can potentially help make that dream a reality. But if you can't, you can always rate, like and rate and support and share at TCGD Continue
Pod.
listening.
Continue listening. Give me a reason to write some more tunes. Tell me what you want to hear. Anybody out there?
Oh yes.
I'll take requests. Destiny, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
This was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me. And we'll fucking see you next time. This could get dicey.